afternoon and welcome to Destination Wellbeing. My guest this afternoon is Brenda Fern, and Brenda is the manager of Curves Ladies Gym in Newry. But there are obviously Curves gyms all over the world, Brenda, so you just have the lucky role of managing the one here in Newry, which I believe was the first to open in Ireland.
It was one of the first, definitely in Northern Ireland. So the first week or two of any coming to Ireland at all. Newry was one of the top ones to open,
And that's 10 years ago now.
10 years ago in May, yeah.
Excellent. So just before we begin, Brenda and I are going to be chatting today about how exercise can play quite a significant role in reducing breast cancer. October is obviously the month that has become synonymous with breast cancer awareness, and people just over the last number of years, it's pink everything everywhere for the month of October. So, but again, just to remind our viewers that at all times, the place to go for if you have any concerns about health and wellbeing is the first place is to contact your GP. And any conversation or anything that Brenda and I will be having this afternoon is based really on our own research and our own opinions and things like that. So Brenda, a big campaign at the minute around getting women of all ages in.
Absolutely, as you say, October has just become pink. You know, so like people are now more aware of cancer. It's everywhere, man, woman and child, unfortunately. But I think as the women of the house, they sort of take the lead a wee bit more and you know, influence people to go get checkups, etc. So with me being in the business with women at all times and trying to influence them, we can certainly help them think more about exercising better and eating better and generally better well-being all round.
Well, if we look at a lot of, when it comes to reducing the various risk factors, as you say, exercise is up there. You know, research has shown, and this information's from the Action Cancer website, who I know Curves work very closely with. But it's exercise, it's eating a healthy diet, it's drinking more water, avoiding smoking, reducing alcohol, reducing stress levels, which for me is a big one that links through to the exercise. I know, I'm sure you hear that from a lot of women as well.
Yeah, you know, a lot of our ladies that come in, it isn't particularly to lose weight or whatever, it's more to de-stress, and they do find when you're in, you know, working out well and exercising and walking weekly, whatever their wee kick would be, they will reduce stress levels, and that's very important.
And as you mentioned as well, attending checkups, whether it's smear tests, mammograms, just generally even blood pressure checks, blood sugar level checks, all of those type of things.
You know, there's all them options there for us, and you know, everybody says, oh, I must go get an MOT as they call it, but do they do it often enough? Do we check up often enough? We wait till we hear a bad story before we think about it.
Yeah, well that's, and I know Rowan here on the morning show does promote quite a lot around for men for getting prostate cancer checks. And you know, he's very adamant and very forceful with that message. But I think one of the things that I often think about is where we go to the dentist. We're recommended go every 6 months, whether there's anything wrong, just get your checkup done and go. With other aspects of our health,
we're afraid of our lives.
we don't go and we wait till it's too late. And yet, increasingly over the last number of years, you know, the success or the number of people who successfully survive breast cancer is significantly
because of the mammograms. You know, you probably would hear about the big bus that goes around, like the amount of stories that we hear, even in our local Newry and Mourne, of people being saved because of going to these things is massive. So it's very important that if there's an opportunity there to go to any of these items or go to any of these checkups to do it, take advantage of it.
Take advantage of those, and roughly how many ladies would you be in contact with on a weekly basis then?
In Curves we're very lucky, we have about 400 ladies up there exercising regularly. So brilliant. You know, we're very proud to know that the majority of the people in Newry are trying their best to keep fit, and there's lots of gyms in Newry that are busy, which is fantastic.
And gyms and everything else, I mean, over the last couple of years, the amount of work that has been done in terms of marathons and triathlons and things like that, Newry must be healthier as a result of all of this, because everywhere you look now, people are
well, like we started the marathon, was it 5 years ago now, 4 years ago now, where the marathon started in Newry, and to be it's crazy there was never one in Newry before. It's a good, strong city, why shouldn't we? So I think people sort of see more of these things, the triathlons, the duathlons, the marathons, and they think, I can do that as well, which is brilliant.
I can do, and then the smaller ones, the tries and the half marathons and the 5Ks and the 10Ks. I know this year a lot of your ladies took part in the Newry and Mourne.
We did the Newry and Mourne women's one, which was brilliant.
You know, 10K,
it was 10K in Ostrava. fantastic. Again, you know, a lot of my ladies, we have a massive age range in with us in Curves. Some of our youngest girls down to 14 and 15, and some of our ladies are in their 70s. So it suits absolutely everybody. But we got on the bandwagon and said, right, okay, we're doing this. Don't be frightened of it being called a marathon.
That's true.
Just do it for a day out and
enjoy it and
brilliant.
have fun. And it doesn't matter, you know, one of the quotes that often gets used by a lot of the fitness trainers, and I've seen Curves using as well, as, you know, no matter how slow you're going, you're lapping everybody on the couch. It doesn't matter. Or the only good, you know, the only bad workout's the one that's not done.
Didn't do.
That's the only time it can be not worth
any
doing
wee
it.
bit
Every
is so
little
worth
bit.
it.
And I would be a big believer and promote quite actively through the therapies bit. Prevention's better than cure, and that's why we exercise.
It is. It is. We have to be more health aware. We have to realise that, you know, what's the point in waiting until we become sick to realise that we should have been walking the block, or we should have been doing that way bit more, then we wouldn't have got the blood pressure, we wouldn't have had the heart attack. You know, and some of these things might seem a million miles away to people, but it knocks on everybody's door. Yeah,
we're not getting any, there's none of us getting any younger.
Yeah.
And there's also, I know I've recently read a book about the 100-year lifestyle, whereby young people now, be they young of whatever age, we'll say 30s young as well, but whatever age they are likely to live to be 100.
Right,
but it's the quality of life. We're the first generation whereby it was expected.
Yes.
There are obviously older people now who are living quite healthy lives well into their 90s and things like that. But we're the first generation that have actually will know that we're going to live to this age group, and for me it's about the quality of life.
It
and
is
that's
definitely the quality
the
of
exercise.
life. I also think too that we're bombarded nowadays with takeaways and whatever. There's a lot of easier options out there, and you know, we need to work that way bit harder if we're treating ourselves a bit more, if we're indulging more in alcohol or whatever. You know, there's so many things that we can pull back on.
Yeah, it's all about balance too. If you're going to take it in, you have to burn it off. And as you say, our diet has changed and our lifestyles have changed, but our lifestyles have also become more sedentary as an ongoing thing. So years ago, there was no real reason for somebody to go to, you know, 20, 30 years ago, people didn't need to go to the gym because they were walking everywhere they went. There wasn't the number of cars. They generally, their lifestyles were more active, whereas now we need to fit it in. And that idea of sort of 3 20-minute, 30 minutes of exercise a week, more if you can get it
better.
in.
But if you can slip, you know, sort of, I always say about good 2.5 hours a week in, you're doing well.
Yeah, you're doing
good.
You know,
that's nothing out of your week.
It's going to stand to you.
It's
definitely going to stand. And you mentioned there about age group, sort of the youngest being 14 right up until 70. I mean, that's amazing for women right through the whole spectrum to be taken on board.
Curves is fantastic. You know, we have kids, mums and granny all working out together. You know, we've aunts and nieces. We've, you know, obviously it's women only, so we're keeping with the female. But you know, there's so many generations and so many people that can sort of come together, even just to bond themselves, do things together.
And to have the curve, you know, the curves as their common.
Their common ground. And there'll be things that would appeal to gran and curves that won't appeal to the grandchild, but you know, they'll all see different sides of it, of what they want to do.
And I suppose exercise in general can be that. It can be it can be time, because there's no reason, you know, often you hear, particularly women, and I think it is difficult for women to get the time to exercise. Traditionally speaking, men have always been much more involved in, be it the gym or the running or whatever it is. They're because they've more time.
It's time management. It is. You know, women are trying to juggle all the time, and men sort of have that hour. They're going to do their football or whatever it is, and they get there. We are, but women are always trying to juggle the dinners, the kids, the house, the whatever else.
But as we look at obesity being a problem with children, there's no reason why they can't join that time together. Be it, let's go out and kick a ball in the park, or go for a walk, take them with you. There's
definitely, let's go for a swim, whatever it would be. Activity, full stop, is good.
Any form of it. And you know, we all know this is the other side of it. It's not that there's none of it rocket science. But it's trying to get it into our brain. And I would work, or would be quite aware of, it's not what we eat, it's why we eat what we eat. It's not why we don't exercise. It's what's stopping us, what bit of us, because you know, we have a quote there, which is one I love, and Sean will pop it up there hopefully for us, but it's, you know, whoa, I really regret that workout. Yeah. No one has ever said that.
Chance.
We all feel better.
Yeah, no matter how you do, you'll always have a grin going out the door after doing your exercise, or coming in the door after doing your walk, or whatever the case would be. Yeah. You know, you feel great after it. You know, it's the whole hormonal balance in the body as well that helps us through, but it's making sure that you know that you're going to feel good after, no matter how you feel before you want to start.
Yeah, the endorphins are going to be released, and that's really where, and I think when we talk about October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month and things like that, and they talk about how important exercise is in that role, for me that's why exercise is important, because it's feel good. It's feel good factor. It's reducing, it's helping your body to get rid of toxins, it's clearing everything out.
It's the stress, you know, which a lot of people do talk about, that brings on cancer. You know, people talk very much with the stress, so if you somewhere where you can release that, and producing the endorphins in the body will reduce the stress levels, no doubt about that.
And controlling the adrenaline, I suppose, as well, because a lot of the time we're under this fight and flight, and we don't get it released. It doesn't get out of our systems.
That we time, don't we?
And I think the combined effort as well is that generally if you're exercising, you'll drink more water.
Yeah.
It's they go hand in hand. Yeah.
So. You know, I would have some of my ladies, and they wouldn't touch a glass of water at all, but they come in, and the first thing I'll do is go up to the fridge and give them a bottle, whether they want it or not.
Yeah.
And then as the day goes on, I'll say, you know, fill that up, or go home and get another wee glass, and it just gets you going, and that flushes the whole system out. It's so easy.
Yeah. And it's so normal. It doesn't have to be any big exercise. It doesn't have to be a big choice. It has to be just small changes.
It doesn't have to be an expense either. You know, water is one of our necessities, you know.
And
so
it's there.
Like, we can survive on water alone, so it's obviously the number one that people forget about. That if you're, you know, whatever you're taking in, if you're flushing the body out again, it's going to be a helping hand for you.
Yeah. And the, you know, dehydration, people talk often about headaches, and you know, I would get a lot of people there with stomach problems and things like that, and water can go a long way to solving all of that. It
really is. It's funny, as when I was a child, I would have been a bugger for the fizzy drinks, and I, as a novelty, I suppose, one year Mummy and Daddy got you know, the water coolers.
Yes.
Now, it's not that long ago, but in them days that was such a novelty to have in the house. You know, you went into the dentist, you got to play with it, or you went in somewhere like that. But we got this into the house, and we've never looked back. Every single one of us drank litres of water a day. You know, so it's making habits as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, they say it takes 21 days to create a new habit. So October, I know the NHS are running a campaign, Stoptober. They're calling it, whereas stop smoking just for October, stop alcohol just for October. Doesn't have to be anything more than that. You don't have to say, well, I'm never going to drink another drop again, or I'm never going to smoke another cigarette. Just to have a short-term goal in play.
I think that would work really well, because as you said, it generally takes them sort of 21 days to create a habit, and once you would get into the way of it, a few weeks, what is it out of your life? You know?
It's going to be, and it's also going to, it also does away with that, and I'm sure whenever you're dealing with women as well and they're exercising, if you think this has to happen forever in a day, it's a bigger challenge.
It's too daunting.
Especially if you're doing, I know you do some challenges and stuff in Curbs as well, and they're shorter term things.
We try to make it, bite size.
Yeah.
You know, that you can see to the next step. You know, we started a challenge there after the summer, and it was a 6-week challenge, but that was to get everybody back and going. But they automatically enter then a 3-week challenge in November, and then a 1-week boost in December. You know, so it's all them wee steps that people like to take towards a goal. To think, if somebody told you that you had to do this for life, or you had to be dieting for life, or exercise every day for life, you wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about diet as well, is for me a big part of the diet bit is that it's rather than making a short-term change, that you do see it as, look, I'm going to do what I can for, you know, so I'm going to do small bite-sized chunks again. So I'll reduce fizzy drinks, for example.
I'm
not going to take away from them. I'm not going to do them all. I'm just going to have less. I'm going to. So you take it each step of the way.
We would very much into that, because again, in my environment, I'm dealing with busy people. You know, women that are working full time, or families full time, or whatever. So we have to do wee bits. We can't say, right, there's a Bible, follow it.
Yeah,
you know,
and often what people do is they maybe diet rigidly and stick so rigid to something for 2 or 3 days and expect miracles.
Yeah.
And they've just tortured themselves and put their body under
and just turn themselves off the whole situation.
Yeah, put their bodies under a lot more
back
pressure.
To this little bit often is our model for how you should be eating throughout your day as well. But little bit often, as in taking wee steps, as in doing a diet for a week, and then we check it over and starting again. These bit by bit, I think is the best way.
I think as well, just sort of reducing items. So have a 12-month vision as to where your health's going to be in 12 months.
Yeah.
And how healthy you're going to feel and what type of foods you're going to be eating, and gradually just
work
take one off, take one bad thing out of your diet, for want of a better word, and gradually replace it with a healthier product.
And people do that then without realising. In 6 months, 12 months time, they've completely turned it around. They didn't even realise. And that could just be as much as us sitting down with them and saying, right, this week we're going to try and go with no tea. This week we're going to try and go with no chocolate in the afternoon, or no crisps on a Friday night with the bottle of wine.
It doesn't have to be none ever. It's just none at this time.
The worst thing you can hear is never, because you crave it all the more.
Yeah, you want. Once you try to get rid of it completely, then that's exactly what you. That's exactly what your body's looking for.
It's all you can think about.
We're programmed as humans to want what we can't have type things. So,
exactly.
And I think reprogramming as well, for me, it can work quite well when people. And even for myself, it worked very well when we when we make a choice, but we understand why we're making that. So our focus is to be healthier rather than depriving ourselves, or our focus is to have a goal at the end of what we're doing, and that
there has to be the reason. Otherwise, they're never going to stick to it either, or nobody can. If you can't understand it, education is everything. So it's knowing why you need to be making these changes and where it's going to get you to.
Absolutely. And again, back to the exercise bit. If we look at maybe it can feel like a chore to get there and you're trying to squeeze it in, but much longer term your joints are going to be better, you're going to be healthier, your heart's
stronger.
All
these things, that would be some of our ladies, say more in their 50s and 60s and that, they're not coming in to get into a belly tap to go to the bank, they're coming in to make sure that they have good strong joints like that. Some of them might be suffering with arthritis, so they're going to build the strength there. Osteoporosis is a big factor which weakens the bones. So again, all these things can be helped and can be aided when they're exercising properly. And safely as well, obviously.
And with the support of other people around as well.
Completely.
I think
the environment is a big thing. So when you come in and it's all women with me, there's every age and that, but there's so many that have their way cracked together. I often thought I should open a coffee shop. It's such a social thing sometimes.
And that's true whether it's a walking group or it's a running group or whatever it is. It's about people being together and like-minded people who have similar goals as
and made the same choices, or trying their best to make the same choices.
And I think where exercise is concerned, a lot of the time I would hear or be chatting to women say, but I don't like such and such. And it's finding ways of adjusting it.
And trying to
finding an exercise that works for you. So it might not necessarily be just curves that'll work for some person. It might work for might work for a certain type of person.
And their sister might hate it. She might be somebody that would rather go to the pool or go out running and have nobody near them and no noise and no music. We're completely different, but that's how we should taste all.
I think trying different things and not closing your head down and looking out, like be it maybe horse riding, be it canoeing, be it
surfing, you name it.
Surfing, walking, running, cycling, whatever. Zumba. I mean, I know now everywhere we look, there's Zumba classes popping off as well, and women seem to be really enjoying doing Zumba classes.
Some people I know, because we do Zumba and curves as well, and some of the ladies, they feel like that's their Saturday night out.
Where they can't get out anymore, maybe with children and whatever.
Yeah, everybody is so different, but we'll all have our own way vice, where something that'll draw them into one more than the other, but you should try as much as possible.
Well, that's what I think. I think often, we dismiss it as just I don't like exercise, and that might actually be I don't like walking or I don't like running. It's not, because exercise will make us feel good. I mean, if we could bottle all of the benefits into a tablet and we all doing it, and yet we see exercise as a chore.
And it's hard work. And like half an hour, as I say, like 2 hours a week really, I think it's sufficient. So half an hour, how easy is it to come in of an evening and sit down and watch Carrie for half an hour, or EastEnders, and
Yeah,
what are you doing?
fine.
You know, really.
Yeah, you're only polluting your brain.
Yeah,
in most
exactly.
cases.
So there could have been a wee slip out to the park. It could have been round the road for a walk or into Curves
and if
or
it
whatever.
means taking children with you, as we say, you know, take them.
Take them with you.
Yeah,
the more that they see the exercise as well, the better and the healthier lives they're going to lead.
I think the point that you made at the beginning was, you know, where women are influencing.
Yes.
They are the influencers in the family. They are the motivation.
Well, generally now, I know we're all always generally speaking, but you know, they're sort of cooking the dinner and they're packing the lunches or they're organising where they're going at the weekend. You know, the man will go with the flow. You know, the kids go with what they're told to do. You know, so generally the women are the ones that'll make these decisions. So if we can try our best, and that's what we do, try our best, is to get our women making the best possible choices, then hopefully the whole family can do the same.
I know even from you know, gone back, and I can't remember whose quote it was, but there's something in the back of my head about they're talking about educating women. If you educate women, you're educating everybody. Because
women talk.
women talk, and share their experiences.
They're not afraid to tell on and, you know, sort of learn more and hear more and ask more.
And then carry that through and influence. Because, as we say, I know, you know, children's health is becoming, there's increase in diabetes.
It's really going through the roof at the moment.
Such a
scary.
And obesity and things like that. And a lot, again, it all comes down to diet and exercise.
Absolutely. It's the bottom line, isn't it?
It's the bottom line, and it doesn't get more complicated. But I suppose that's why we don't. And often when I would be chatting with groups and that, I would suggest that they, you know, if we say rather than I have to go for a walk or I have to go for this, which is a whole perception that we have.
And
I'm choosing to.
In your head.
I'm choosing to go for a walk. Why am I choosing to go for a walk? Because I'm going to feel better when I've done it. I'm choosing to go to Curves. Why am I choosing to go? I'm choosing because.
Great.
And when we change from a have to a choice,
the must to the choice,
that feels easier. It sits easier with us in some.
It does.
way.
It's like what we said a while ago. When you're told you can't eat such a thing, that's when you crave it all the more. So it's making your brain go with you, kind of, you know, that you're
if we can convince this bit
to go with the rest,
we get the rest to go, and we will be more, you know, there's nothing as bad as feeling you have to do something. If you get up in the morning and say I have to do the ironing, I have to do the shopping, I have to get in exercise, I have to make dinners,
I bet it'll take twice as long to do all them things.
It all becomes have to, and it all becomes more burden, and it all becomes stress and pressure, and it just becomes a vicious circle. And you could add something, you know, you could add exercise into that and cause yourself more stress. And on top of all of this, I have to. And if we can just get rid of the word have to and try and shift our way to I want to go for a walk, or I'm choosing to go for a walk, then it suddenly doesn't become a burden.
No, and it's far easier, on you. And it's the pressure, as you said again, and it's that sort of three-legged stool, you know, where we're talking about the pressure and the stress. The exercise, the eating, you know, it's making it all work in harmony, and the balance of it again.
Bringing balance all back into the body and into how we feel. So lots happening, a busy month ahead.
That's happening in Curves every year. Well, let's say we're open 10 years now, so we've always chosen October to be a big breast cancer aware, but just health aware, really, you know. And throughout the month of October, then anybody that comes and would like to join Curves actually don't pay any joining fee at all. They make a donation towards Action Cancer.
Oh, brilliant. So that's something, you know,
that's
what close to so many people's hearts.
Absolutely. So what we get out of it is obviously more people wanting to help themselves, which is brilliant. And clearly we help the charity as well. We give, you know, we pick different charities some years. 2 years ago, Dun Macmillan, and the year before that was Action Cancer. There's a few different charities have done along the line, I can't just think right now. But it's trying to share it around, because they're all doing amazing work.
There's a lot of fabulous work being done out there, and particularly in the areas of research and prevention, and those, you know, it's not so often, whilst it's devastating for any woman to have a diagnosis, it's no longer really so much, if it's early enough stage, it doesn't seem to be such a death sentence in all cases.
You know, definitely
there's hope, there's treatment, and there's people survive and move past their diagnosis.
I've lots of ladies that have been in and out to me, and you know,
at different stages,
have come through it all, have come through the worst of it. You know, so even that positivity as well, and people sharing their stories in Curves like that, there's loads of support there and understanding for.
And women are great with sharing that type of information. And I think as well, you know, okay, all of the things that we're talking about, the diet, the exercise, the reducing smoking, the alcohol, as you said, it's health that we're, because they're the same things for no matter what we list up there, be it Alzheimer's, be it breast cancer, diabetes, whatever, it's the same prescription.
It is, completely.
And it's the same.
Move a little more, eat a little less, and try and generally be happier in yourself.
And as I said, drink a bit more water and reduce the stress. Yeah, we could have a poem going there, Brenda. Move a little more, drink a little less.
You never know, we could something
eat a little less and reduce the stress. That could be. And that's a really, it's a really simple approach.
Simple approach, but it is the simple steps, isn't it?
And we have to. It begins with us. Again, another quote that I came across the other day was, if it's meant to be, it starts with me.
Good, like it.
And we all, a lot of the time, sure, if it's meant to be, it'll be, and I'll do it, but we have to.
But you need to start it, don't you?
Take that ownership ourselves and make the first choice, make the phone call, or go for the walk, or
just make a move.
Make one choice. So I think if we can inspire our viewers to just do one thing, whatever it is, one thing in the month of October to really start making a positive difference to your health, be it getting involved with Stoptober and deciding, well, look, December's going to be December, busy party time months. Nobody particularly wants to be off alcohol as that, but reduce down in October, give your liver a wee bit of a break, and maybe try and increase some exercise, increase your water and things like that. Then we'll all, if everybody made one choice.
Exactly, if we all done one way step, it would make a massive difference.
All make a positive difference. Brenda, thanks a million for your time this afternoon.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Have a great month and keep inspiring all those ladies.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for watching in. Destination Wellbeing going out on a Tuesday and a Thursday afternoon, and to catch up with what's happening, I am in with Rowan Hand on his morning show every Thursday morning at about 8 o'clock. So we look forward to seeing you all then.